How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Fitmanaquatics. So I've been doing a good deal of aquatic videos, and I thought it was high time that I finally do my kind of fitness origin story, if you will. So we're gonna start with that. We'll probably go through what my plans for is in terms of like a fitness enthusiast, what I plan on bringing to the table to hopefully help you all, what my plans are for the future, all kinds of stuff like that. So without any further ado, let's see, my fitness story started probably back in high school. I think freshman year was the first time that I got really introduced to lifting weights. It was just in gym class, and they would take us down to the weight room, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I got laughed at by quite a few different kids. From most of them were like football players, so they were familiar with lifting weights. They had been doing it for years, or had at least been doing it for a while. And so I couldn't lift much. I didn't really know what I was doing. They were making they would chuckle at me, and anyway, that's not important. That was the start of my fitness time. And from a pretty young age, I had a fairly strong feeling that I wasn't going to be like the tallest person in the world. So, high school me thinking, okay, well, if you're not the tallest person in the world, what are you going to do to find a girl? And so I thought, okay, well, if I can't be tall, I might as well be strong. So that's what I started doing. I went then on through high school. I always took weights class. I went continuously through weights, kind of knowing what I was doing, getting more understanding of like the different exercises and what muscles they worked. And then I got into college, and that's where things really took off. So freshman year wasn't huge. I was still going to the gym regularly. I kind of had my own game plan. At that point, I was working out probably 4 times a week. I would be doing P90X or Ab Ripper X with some of my hall mates. So we would all do that together a couple times a week. But in terms of nutrition, I was kind of a dumpster fire. We lived pretty far away from the rest of campus, and so we had like a mess hall down on our bottom floor, and it was a buffet, which was a gift and a curse all at the same time, because it did make it that I would just go in and eat tons of food. Way too much food. Bulked up a lot, but I probably put on that freshman 15 just purely off of a little, like some muscle and then some fat. And then sophomore year, I went in and I started working out on my own. I was starting to do more programs and stuff. Jim Stoppani was and is a big influencer of a lot of the exercises I do. I listened a lot to the things he said. He has that kind of science background, so I appreciated that he took the science approach to it as well as the fitness approach, and that kind of holistic view really clicked with me. So a side note on that, I do recommend that everyone kind of find that person who will help motivate them. Self-motivation is amazing, and I will say that it works in great lengths, but it is just motivation. It comes and goes. It's not permanent. So find someone that you can kind of look at. I almost see yourself in them in a sense, and find the right type of workout. So I found Dr. Stoppani, and I saw the science he was using behind his products as well as his exercises. It all made sense to me with the science mind I have, and so I decided to follow him as kind of my coach or leader through this whole transition I was going through more and more in college. As I moved off campus, I had to start budgeting things more, so a lot of my meals ended up being like spinach and tilapia fillets. So I did that a lot, not really knowing a ton about my nutrition, just knowing that like tilapia is high in protein, spinach is like a superfood, if you will. So I tried to eat on the healthier end, but didn't really have that nutritional background. It wasn't really until late, I would say junior year, that started to happen, where I started to build more and more on the nutritional side of things. And then senior year is really when things just like took off. At senior year for me was my pinnacle. Like, I will never reach that peak again. I don't even think my body could handle the shape I was in at this point. I was working out crazy hard. I was, way into the nutrition thing, like learning tons about like fasting and the different types of micronutrients as well as macronutrients, and I was logging everything I ate down to the ounce. I would measure all my stuff out. Went through multiple different programs from Dr. Stopani. At one point, when I was starting to lean down, I think it was, it might have been, I don't think it was Shortcut to Shred. I can't exactly remember the exact program, but I'd say it was about March time, and I was in the best shape of my life. I had been cutting weight. I was going to the gym 6 times a week. I was probably doing sprints on that 7th day, watching every calorie I ate. I was real intense. I almost had no social life at that point. I didn't hardly drink or anything. It was really good. It had its ups and its downs, but I was pushing myself a lot. I was pushing myself really hard, and it helped me now and back then know how much mentally I could do, as well as physically. That was, numbers that I, again, probably will never reach, but I've come to accept that. So anyway, the March hit. I was going really hard. I was almost to the end of this program, and I was looking in amazing shape. I was so happy with myself. Unfortunately, disaster struck again, and I dislocated my shoulder. Now, this isn't the first time. I dislocated my shoulder, once in high school playing ice hockey. I dislocated it once playing football with my friends on Thanksgiving. I believe that was like freshman year of college. Did it again my junior year of college, I believe it was, and then again my senior year of college. So I'm pretty injury prone with the shoulders. Once you dislocate a shoulder, it's more likely to happen. I would go to physical therapy. I'd keep training it back up, working it out, but at some point I just push myself too hard, or I'm too careless with whatever I'm doing, and I would injure myself again and have to start back over. So I dislocated my shoulder and realized that this wasn't a good one. In terms of feeling it, there was times where I felt it and I could recover a couple weeks, maybe a month, get that mobility and that strength back, and I was back in the gym, not where I was, but starting to build back. I could do my regular routine. This one spent a couple of months fully recovering. I had to stop all upper body exercises, doing completely legs. At that time, I was pretty bummed out because I was really happy with where I had been and knowing this was going to be a huge backslide. So I started looking into how can I maintain this muscle mass that I had without actually doing upper body exercises. And so I stumbled upon the ketogenic diet. So I did a lot of research in it because at that time it wasn't very popular. It wasn't a thing really in mainstream anything. So a lot of people were like, oh, it's a scam. It's not good for you. All that fat is going to clog your heart. You're going to have a heart attack. The list goes on and on with the horror stories or whatever you want to call them. But I did a lot of research, and I decided to go for it, as I believe firmly that the only and the best guinea pig for any experiment when it comes to nutrition and exercise is yourself. And so I took myself as a guinea pig and started doing this ketogenic diet from the information I could collect online and from other people who had been doing it for years. So I learned a lot in that stint. It did help maintain some muscle mass. It also helped me feel a lot better, and I will have another video down the road where I will talk about my experience on the ketogenic diet, how I feel about it, all the information that I can give to all of you about it. But we'll save that for another date because I could rant on that easily for 15 minutes. But I did it. It worked pretty well for what I wanted. I decided to stay on it for a while and start going back into the gym, working out regularly. I did notice that my lifts weren't as good on it, so I started adding some carbohydrates back in. Eventually it got to like post-graduation. Now we're into probably Christmas time, and I decided, okay, enough is enough. Like, this is holidays with the family. I want to be there and enjoy it with them, so I decided to come off the ketogenic diet. Afterwards, I would move down to the Florida Keys and take a job there that only had me off, and like I could physically leave property 1 day a week. So I didn't have a lot of free time. I would go to the gym that one day, and otherwise it was working on property. They did have some exercise stuff I could do, but I was also constantly working, like swimming. It was a very intense job, so I did a lot of like cardio exercises, and I did go back on the ketogenic diet there so that I could try to maintain the muscle mass I had during training, because their training, again, it was 1 day off a week with 6 days on, and so the ketogenic diet helped me a lot to maintain my muscle mass during those 6 days, and then that 1 day I could work my butt off in the gym and repeat that process through all of training. After training, I had some more free time, so I went back to that standard diet, with still some intermittent fasting. I think from senior year on, I continued on with intermittent fasting in some fashion. That, again, will be another video down the road about intermittent fasting and the benefits that it has and the wonderful things it's done for me. So, yeah, I continued doing that through my time in the Keys. As I worked that job, you know, training would start again. I'd go back on the keto diet. Training would end. I'd go back to like the regular diet. And then after I finished that job, my girlfriend and I decided to find a place together and try and make it work. So we got a place. I convinced her to try the ketogenic diet. I also convinced her at the time to try intermittent fasting, which eventually led up to kind of the warrior diet, which is what I do now. So we did a good deal of ketogenic diet for 6 to 9 months, something like that, with a lot of fasting. Eventually we did move out of the Keys, so we decided to end our time on the ketogenic diet then, because we wanted to experience all of the restaurants and wonderful food that the Keys had to offer without being limited by the keto diet. So we went off of it and have been off ever since, but we still continue that warrior diet of eating one big meal in the evening. I still haven't eaten today, and it's getting close to like 4:30, I think. So I'll probably start here in a little bit, maybe after some yoga. But now we flash forward to where we are now. I'm still trying to work out as much as possible. I want to maintain the muscle mass I have, try and I'm not so much on building it right now. I'm more in that kind of shredding zone. We're getting ready for the beach in a month, so we got getting that beach bod on, if you will. So as of late, I guess I will start with, I dislocated my shoulder when we were evacuating for Hurricane Irma. In the hurricane, the day before we were supposed to leave Orlando, I dislocated my shoulder, and so that set me back a ways. Of course, I worked it back up all by myself. I've had a lot of experience in that, so if you have shoulder issues, I can try and do my best to help. I'm more than happy to at least lend my insight onto things that work for me and exercises I did to rehabilitate my shoulders back into place. So we moved up here, found a gym, things were going really well. My lifts were going up and up and up, and I was actually thinking, wow, I might be able to get back to the point I was in college. Maybe not senior year, but it's something to work towards. And then the weirdest thing happened. I'm not really sure what the exact cause was. I think it had to do with some poor lifts, trying to lift too heavy with improper form, and I seem to have either like pinched a nerve or damaged something in my shoulder. So now I have to take everything in stride. I can't lift like I used to. I've personally been going through a lot in my head trying to figure out what the best next pattern is for me, or best next path for me is, because I'm not sure the way I used to lift is even possible. It causes a good deal of pain in my shoulders if I'm not careful about it, and I definitely can't lift as heavy as I used to. So now I'm still trying to work out about 3 times a week just to hit all the muscle groups. I am now trying to do a lot more cardio and Tabatas, things like that. And I have started to do some yoga. So this will be about my first week of yoga. Not every day, but about 4 to 5 times a week I'm doing it, with probably half an hour of stretching too. And that's helping a lot with my shoulders, helping me relax. I'm starting to notice where things are bothering me more. It gets me definitely more in tune with my body. I will be, again, having another segment on the yoga, how I think it works, things that work well for me, things that I'm not so crazy about, all of that. But I do think that it has, in some extent, helped me with my shoulders, helps with day-to-day comfort. I don't have those like kind of dull, achy, or burning pains as much. So as of right now, I plan on continuing the path I have, is just caution for the most part, listening to my body when I'm in the gym, just really listening to it too. Not like, oh, I can feel the muscles working. It's like, do I feel a pinch? Do I feel a slight agitation? Where is it? If I shift my hand this direction, to the left, to the right, something like that, does it make it more comfortable? So I'm doing a lot of experimentation on what's the most comfortable for me, which again, I think is the most important thing possible. If you take anything out of these fitness videos, know that you should be your own guinea pig. No one else, and no one else can be, truthfully, because everyone's body is different. So I would say I am being my guinea pig again, trying to learn different exercises, also different kind of exercise avenues through yoga and cardio and things like that, to better myself without risking my shoulders getting any worse, because I'm in my mid-20s. I do not want to have horrible shoulders when I am much older. I actually, down the road, I know this is highly questionable, and judge me all you want and unfollow me, whatever, I don't care, but I hope to, down the road, actually be able to look into possibly doing some kind of stem cell for my shoulders as a repair method, so I can try and work them hard, because I love lifting weights. I love the feeling I get. I love the look it gives me. I love the relaxation, the mental clarity, all of it that comes with that. So I would like to do that somewhere down the road. I hope that will be a possibility for me. But until that time comes, my best thing is just like kind of slowly build at it, just get better and better and better, while keeping the top of mind, or the most important thing for me, as how does my shoulders feel, how does the rest of my body feel, making sure that I'm not doing any more damage than I already have. Now, with that said, my plans for this side of the YouTube channel is I'm not going to show you how to do certain exercises. If you need that information, there's a billion videos out there on YouTube, on Instagram. It doesn't matter. Find them from someone better than me. That's all I can tell you, is there is a video out there for that exercise you want to know, and I can guarantee there's someone more professional than myself to instruct you, show you all of that better than I can. So what I'm going to try and bring to the table here is the nutrition and the exercise, but more of the big picture, the concepts, the ideas, the learning that I've gone through, and trying to share my information both as documentation for myself and to help you guys out. I know I say everyone, you should be your own guinea pig, and you should, but it also helps to get some insight or some background knowledge or feelings from other people who have already been there. So I'm going to try and do that. So my future videos, like I said, I will try and talk about my time, experiences, feelings on the ketogenic diet. I will talk about my times, experiences, feelings with the warrior diet, my times, feelings with yoga, and giving you guys hopefully weekly updates on how that's going. All of that information is what I hope to bring to the table for you all and for myself here in the future. So I hope you guys will stick with me for the near future, and I hope I can give a lot of kind of talks or explanations to all of these things that I've gone through as best as I can. It has been a while since I've been super into the nutrition and everything, so all the sciencey jargon and all of that may be a little hazy for me, so you have to forgive me, but I'm not gonna forget the feelings that I got on things like the warrior diet, things on the ketogenic diet, doing Tabatas or what have you. So I have a lot I want to offer to everyone in the field of fitness, as I've been doing it for quite a while, and I've been doing it pretty intensely, or at least I used to be doing it really intensely for a series of years. So I hope you guys will follow me along with that. I hope you learn as I learn, and I hope I can give you guys a lot of insight, and maybe even convince some of you guys to try some of these things like the warrior diet, like the ketogenic diet, maybe even yoga if I fall in love with it. Anything like that is my goal, and if I can accomplish that goal, then I'll be happy. So if you guys have any questions, any comments, please leave them down below. I will be happy to answer any of the questions about my fitness journey or my nutrition journey, or just general questions about fitness that I might be able to answer to you that you came up with while you were watching this video. As always, I appreciate, like, share, subscribe to these videos. So I hope that these fitness videos will give a kind of a different angle on this channel and bring something kind of unique to the YouTube station, as a person who appreciates both the nature world of aquariums and terrariums, everything like that, as well as the kind of more human aspect world of fitness, exercise, nutrition for our bodies, and help both connect myself and you all to the natural world, in ourselves and through things like tanks, terrariums, and plants. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and until then, take care.